If you're not a fan of wrestling, then a lot of it probably will sound pretty ridiculous and won't make any sense to you whatsoever. It's the only place where legitimate professional athletes can dress up like the boogeyman and fake fight in a ring for 45 minutes. This show, I'm going to try and explain to you some of my favorite wrestling storylines that to a regular non-wrestling fan might not get, and it might seem crazy that there's Viagra on a pole and the winner of the match gets to grab it. But that's wrestling, and that's why we love it. So I'm going to start off with one of my favorite storylines, which is the story of Goldberg. I'm ready to talk to you about William H. Goldberg. If you're a wrestling fan, the name Goldberg means this crazy, intimidating, intense individual, insane top-tier pro athlete. But if you're anybody else and you hear Goldberg, that guy does your taxes. But yet, here we are, and Bill Goldberg is one of the meanest, baddest, most awesomest wrestling men of all time. I gotta tell you about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
How Hulk Hogan changed sides, and after being the best guy ever. Here's the thing. Our generation, everyone's got trust issues, right?
Yeah.
And I blame Hulk Hogan. Everyone our age knows Hulk Hogan. And we grew up, Hulk Hogan was our dad. If you're 27 and up, Hulk Hogan was your dad.
Right.
And then at one point in 96, our dad just fucked the nanny in front of us. You know? And winked. It's the second half of the 90s now, and the NWO is running the WCW, right? We've got Scott Hall, we've got Kevin Nash, and their leader, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Everyone's childhood idol is now bad. Which is so interesting that in wrestling you could just one day you just go bad, and then another day you just go good. The NWO's the shit, okay? They're on top, they're beating up everybody, they're taking over the show. And the WCW at the time kept trying to bring in old wrestlers, guys with some name and some notoriety. They kept trying to bring them in to be the opponent to fight Hulk Hogan and his clan of bad men. So Hogan's fighting Ric Flair, and Hogan's fighting Rowdy Roddy Piper they bring in, and then they bring in the Ultimate Warrior, and they're fighting. And they're literally, WCW is trying to spare no expense to bring in as many notable names as they can to fight against Hulk Hogan, but it's just not working. So, what do? Bill Goldberg just starts running through everybody. I'm telling you, when I tell you this guy fucking destroys the competition, he just starts running through everyone. Not a lot of chest to chest in wrestling. All of a sudden he's got his thing, and he's got the security, and he's winning titles. Goldberg's winning match after match after match after match, to the point where it's it's a thing now. And they're okay, we get it, you're Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg works his way all the way up to the point where he's fighting Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the championship, right? Holy fuck. At some point he's won 70, 80, 90, 100 odd matches already, and he's going into
over how much time?
He came in, I think, end of 97. We're talking end of 98 now.
Okay, so 2 years.
No, that's 1 year. And Goldberg wins the heavyweight championship off of, the top guy, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. How do I end it? I guess I'll end it with the streak ending. But I'll go from, they introduce him, they build him up all the way, they make him the sickest thing, they make him champion, and then the streak ends. So the streak ends with the cattle prod. He is now 173-0. I'm not even looking it up because I know this number. He's the champion. He hasn't lost. He's the most dominant, insane thing that wrestling has ever seen. Now we get to a pay-per-view where he's going to fight Kevin Nash for the title. So these two face off, and we're about 10 minutes into this match, and these two are going at it. when all of a sudden, security guard.
Is that an actual security guard?
No, it's Scott Hall.
Oh.
But that's what the
whoa.
audience was thinking because he was like dressed up,
He
you
just
know.
looked like.
So he
regular.
hops up on the ring when the ref's not looking, and he touches Goldberg with something. We're not really sure what. We find out afterwards that Scott Hall had a fucking cattle prod. You know, like a. He hits Goldberg with the cattle prod. Goldberg hits the ground like with a. And Nash picks up the victory. And now Goldberg's 173-1. And then the crazy thing is, now that Kevin Nash is world champion, Goldberg's been defeated. Goldberg's been, defeated. Hulk Hogan challenges Kevin Nash for the title. Monday night, they square off on Nitro, and they meet up in the middle of the ring, and they're talking their trash, and they're in each other's face. And
But they were friends.
And the bell sounds, and Hulk Hogan pokes him in the chest. Kevin Nash hits the ground, and Hogan pins him for the title, 1, 2, 3. And to many wrestling fans around the globe believe that moment, because they were winning in the whole Monday Night War, in the tug-of-war between WWF, WCW, WCW was winning at that point. And that moment of the finger tap defeat to give the title back, many people credit that with the demise of WCW.